We're here at the Plaster Center in Minneapolis this morning, and we are going to demonstrate and give you helpful hints on how to accomplish 3 different techniques. First, we're going to start out with a roll-on technique of our new WildSilk moire. It's the simplest way to complete a moire finish. And then we're going to demonstrate our new fabric look technique, which is 2 coats of moire applied over a similar color, good quality acrylic eggshell paint of a similar color. And thirdly, we're going to demonstrate our new product called Sedona, which is a really excellent product for doing striping in a traditional fashion. We'll do a 6-inch classic stripe, and our stripe is actually going to have a little sparkle to it. So we're just going to update a traditional look, put a little sparkle in it. Very, very simple finish to accomplish. Let's review the tools that we're going to need to complete the MoireWildSilk application. We're going to start out with a 4-inch to 6-inch miniature roller with a 1/2-inch nap sleeve, a 2-inch painter's tape to protect the baseboard and to clean up our corners, a good quality 2 to 3-inch paintbrush, and a fabric making brush. In addition, some good quality lint-free painter's rags. Is applied over a good quality acrylic eggshell to satin finish paint that has been totally cured overnight. Comes completely mixed and ready to use. It's nice and clean to use. It will not drip. Your roller should hold enough material so that it's not running down or dripping off the sleeve. Is available in a number of colors. MoireWildSilk can also be custom tinted for your decorating needs.
So I'm randomly rolling this material on, and I'm putting it on about no thicker than a traditional paint coat, and I just keep randomly changing the direction, which is going to help lay down the reflective material in moire in all directions, so when you actually turn the light on in the room, you'll see a scattering of light coming off the wall surface. And this is coat 1 of moire, which is the first layer of what will be 2 coats of moire total on top of an eggshell paint film. This is definitely the easiest way to install the moire. Just putting on a nice thin layer. You see how I'm kind of rolling into the area I've completed. A helpful tip for moire is when you're doing the install, apply the roller full of material into the area that needs the material versus applying it in the section that you've already completed. The job goes faster, less moving of material. Roll it so it's going to infinity. I'm just rolling it into the area that I've just completed. This technique is excellent for walls that have imperfections, or like our studio walls that are pushing 100 years old. There's just lots of imperfect areas where this technique is going to conceal them. We're going to let this dry about 2 to 4 hours, and we're going to come back and we're going to apply our second coat of moire in the same fashion. We're going to start our finish coat, which is our second layer of moire, in a crosshatch pattern using a short nap 6-inch roller and a good quality bristle brush. And I'm just going to come in and randomly hit the ceiling line and crosshatch it on top of the dried moire layer and kind of soften out the corner. And I'm using controllable amount of material, so moire sticker is not going to drip out, and this new roll-up version allows you to work at your own speed. Just roll it on a nice thin layer and cross-hatching it back in a crisscross pattern as I'm going. I'm going to make sure that this layer is really thin, thinner than a traditional paint coat, so we don't leave back texture. But continue to cross-hatch, leave the corner random and open. Putting in some more material to the roller. And I'm going to come back and join into and slightly overwrap into the existing area. When the legs come on, the surface is going to reflect the light back in different directions. Just continue to put on small layers, randomly crisscrossing it. Okay, I'm going to work the section into and up over the existing layer. And again, I'm going to change the pattern direction just to break up the direction the material is laying down. The roller, I'm going to make sure you have a controllable amount of material on the roller sleeve so that I don't overload the work surface. And again, I'm going to put the material in the zone where we're going up into the area that we did, up into the area we did, and flowing the material kind of flows off into infinity direction, leaving a nice smooth edge. Go up and over it. We're going to put the material down again on the dry zone and move it up and over the existing area you did, just slightly overlapping it. Again, changing the direction ever so slightly as you're doing this. Up and over it. A couple different techniques with our new Moire roll-up version. And we chose to do Moire roll-up version because our building is over 100 years old and our walls are less than ideal. So instead of troweling and bringing imperfections to life, such as nail pops, joints, old wall texture, we're actually going to roll the Moire on in a thin coat, and then we're going to pull a wallpaper brush, stray brush through it to soften up in a wash pattern to camouflage some of these faults that are in this wall section. We rolled on yesterday a coat of Moire, the new roll-up version. We let it dry. Typical dry is about 4 hours. And we're back this morning putting on what will be the final coat of Moire in a real quick fashion. We found it quicker to roll the Moire onto the wall surface and then work the brush through the medium. It's just quicker application. This 6-inch roller typically works really good for this smaller application. If you're doing a larger room, just remember short nap and just bump the roller size up to the maximum of a 9-inch roller. Keep the material thin. Okay, so I'm just rolling on a nice even coat so that I have the entire area covered, more like a traditional paint coat. And now I'm going to use the wall covering brush, stray brush, working from the corner into the middle of the wall. And then I'm going to work up into the area that I completed earlier, which softens the brush application mark. It just kind of goes up into the center of the room. And we're going to use our fabric brush at a low angle and gently pull it across the surface to get a nice fabric pattern to flow across the wall surface. For the corner application, I'm using a good quality paintbrush. Just cut along the tape line. Now we're going to extend and just apply 100% coverage, a thin layer of Moire. And go on randomly, or you can follow just a vertical application pattern. You can add on to it. I can typically do a section about 3 to 4 feet in span. I'm going to leave the lower edge somewhat ragged so we can work into that for the next layer, next level rather. Go all the way to the edge. Now we have a nice complete work area. We're going to clean off our brush to make sure we don't have any residue on it. Now we're going to wiggle this brush through it and work it up over and back through and down into the area we completed earlier. It eliminates any application joint marks, and it lets you work at your own pace without worrying about the material drying out, because we're working the material up and over into the area that's dried, and it will dry invisibly. I can allow this edge to completely dry, go to lunch, come back, and now start working back in and over into the section that has been cured over the lunch hour. And this really is about the normal size of section that I'll work, about arm's length. Again, keeping the base a little bit ragged. And just make sure you have 100% coverage. Okay, you may ask me, why am I not applying the material with the brush? It's just easier to clean off small amounts of material with the brush and keep this clean and run it through the material than it is to apply with the brush. It just is too much material going on the wall at one time, and you kind of lose the decorative effect that you're trying to achieve. You can see I missed a space here, so it's really easy for me to come back, roll into it, correct it. So even if your application is a little bit rough, you can come back into this material and do a repair by just following just a random parallel, which in a lot of active households makes this a great finish, because I can maintain a fresh look in traffic areas simply by rolling on a refresh coat in the repair area and running the brush through it again. Get an instant repair. And roll up and over the existing work area. Make sure your brush is reasonably clean. And we're going to come back in from the bottom and work it up and over into the area that we completed in the last layer. And again, I'm going to make sure I change the direction to soften up the overall look on the wall. Come back and move a little north, a little south, a little east and west. We have a completed, brushed on moire technique. No trowel, no thinning, ready to go. Okay, we're at the Plaster Center today demonstrating a product by Textureline called Sedona. What we're trying to produce is a classic, traditional 6-inch stripe pattern utilizing a sparkly type technique that's simple to apply, fascinating results. So we started out with painting our wall with 2 to 3 coats of metallic paint. In this case we used a pearl finish paint, tinted a little bit to the cream side. We placed tape so that our stripe is a classic 6-inch pattern, and we're going to pull through Sedona. It's pearl base. We're going to roll it on, and then we're going to pull a stray brush through it to give it a nice fabric look with a nice vertical pull. We started with Sedona pearl base, and I added 20% glaze into the Sedona to reduce its consistency. And I'm going to apply it with a 6-inch mini roller in a vertical pattern. And then we're going to pull with a traditional wall covering brush, a stray brush, or any type of brush that leaves back a pattern in a vertical pattern to give the room the appearance of having some lift.
Hello, I'm Drew Beninati, creator of Colors by Drew. Thank you for watching our training video.